Totally not an anti-vaxxer lady demanded a public apology. Someone commented on a post I posted saying what I did fits here. I was in this crazy parenting group that has a lot of people with kooky opinions. Yes. There's loads of anti-vaxxers. Tons of pseudoscience and distrust of medical professionals. Self-styled essential oil experts dispensing dubious medical advice, etc. One lady has been non-stop posting all sorts of craziness trying to convince people vaccines, all, not just the COVID vaccine, are dangerous. I snapped and posted one of her messages to IG stories, with name and group name removed so there's no way of identifying her, calling it the very definition of anti-vax. She recognized it, and even though IG stories disappear on their own in 24 hours, she insisted I remove it. It was already gone, and post a public apology, addressed to the so-called lady that didn't vaccinate her kid, that you called her anti-vax. So I posted on my IG this apology post. Dear all, I have been asked by the so-called lady that didn't vaccinate her kid, that you called her anti-vax, whose message I posted in my IG stories yesterday, to issue a public apology. Swipe to see request. I am so sorry I incorrectly labeled her as anti-vax and will instead just include screenshots of her words so she can explain her position in her own words. And I posted not just the original message, but 2 other crazy anti-vax statements from her. The original IG story post only reached 1,697 people. The apology post reached 9,716 people and full of comments of people telling her she's an anti-vax Karen. A TikTok video I made about that crazy mom group jumped from under 10K views to over 45K views after the apology. The part that got me was so-called lady. At least she acknowledges she's not a lady. Edit to add would have been hilarious if you had apologized for calling her a lady. Streisand effect. I wish there's some place I can post the comments in the post, because they're gold. I'll just give a few examples. So we should stop calling Karen anti-vax? Sorry ma'am. Will complete nut job do? Oh, says she's dumb. Okay. Good lord. Anti-vaxxers do a better job making themselves look stupid than we ever could. She's not anti-vax, guys. She's just against vaccines with no evidence or reason. Good. I can't stand anti-vaxxers, especially when they get all offended for being called anti-vaxxer. SMH. Oh shit, vaccines are bad? Shit, I'm 7 months pregnant and just got TDAP in the first dose of Pfizer. Guess I'm screwed. P.S. Do you think my baby will be born magnetic? At least there is one upside to this all. Please allow me to revise my earlier statement to replace anti-vax with anti-intelligence. I had friends, they invited me to dinner, and then my buddy and his wife ridiculed me for getting the COVID vaccine, and I hope you don't plan on having any kids. Now my buddy is mad I don't hang out with him and his wife anymore, but they don't understand why. Nice. You did just what she asked for. I'm all about giving people what they want. Perfect compliance. Anti-vax was probably the most generous way you could have described her, and now everyone gets to see she's a nut job conspiracy theorist that posts non-stop. I let out a Voldemort-esque cackle upon reading this. It is better to remain silent at the risk of being thought a fool than to talk and remove all doubt of it. Not this lady. Check to see if the mom group has a rule against screenshotting. I belong to one that has a very strict rule which I actually like because some of the things shared there are shared in confidence. Anyone who screenshots and shares is automatically banned, so you actually might be setting yourself up for getting kicked out. If you care. Sounds like a silly parents group to begin with. All the anti-vaxxers I've ever met have been fucking morons in every other aspect of life as well. They have no discernible talent, specialty, or intelligence, so they seek identity through rebellious opining. By the way, a good practice to adopt is that if you don't want folks to know about you, don't put it on the internet. If you do, then be prepared to deal with the consequences. This is art. Congrats on a beautifully orchestrated fucking smackdown. Being a woman does not automatically make you a lady. Does anyone else find it very pleasing that the reach, in numbers, of the original and new post are anagrams, or is it just me? How do you make a post reach 9K people? And what a stupid lady. This would be valid concern apart from the fact that the information to all your concerns is out there and you just have to seek for it. Rushed production. No. Just fast-tracked to ensure production was at full speed. Doesn't mean that factories are skipping critical safety steps to make the vaccines. If there is evidence of that, that's another story. Normal development process. mRNA vaccines have been in development for decades now. The virus spike protein is new. The actual technology is the same. There are peer-review publications on these topics too. Not specifically for COVID-19 but mRNA vaccines for other diseases. Long-term safety. This information can only be obtained, you guessed it, after long-term. This is the same process that other pharmaceutical products go through. After approval, health professionals are supposed to report anything of concern to the FDA. They compile the info and review for new concerns. I think you are correct that it is possible that the vaccines won't receive formal approval. But at this point it is highly unlikely. The vaccines have been proven safe and effective for the time they've been used, and those are the two critical questions that the FDA has to answer to provide approval. The fact that something takes 10 to 15 years to be approved is not necessarily because it takes that long to prove something is good or not good, but because of bureaucratic processes that make it take a long time before the FDA can review stuff. The COVID pandemic made it so important that they had to drop everything they were doing to focus on the data being provided by vaccine manufacturers instead. Therefore, jumping ahead of the line. Again, counters to your hesitation points are out there. You just have to open your eyes and find them. Health officials have public safety above all else, and there is some degree of trust that citizens have to put in them too.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Eracast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.